Vikas Bhambri, based here in New York. Been in B2B tech for almost 30 years and started my career as a developer and have had a number of different roles along the years at companies like Oracle, LivePerson, 8x8, Kustomer, and then most recently here with Yellow.ai, kind of leading our foray in North America as we tackle this AI market. So I think tech has always been core to who I am. I started developing software when I was 15, so been writing code. As I said, I started my career as a developer, and so technology has always been at the forefront of, you know, not only my professional life but my personal life. I think with AI, it's, you know, really embracing it over the last few years. And look, we've had different iterations of concepts that have led to now this AI revolution. And the exciting thing for me is, you know, I was on the forefront of the cloud revolution and kind of moving people from on-prem to the cloud. I think this is the next big wave, and I think it's going to be faster and more impactful than even cloud was. And we're seeing that obviously in the velocity, as well as the impact it's not only going to have in the professional context of how we as knowledge workers work and what we do, but ultimately how it impacts our personal lives as well. Yeah. The biggest thing I look for is, you know, a lot of people in this industry talk about efficiency. You know, how do we make our workforce more efficient, potentially, you know, leading to a reduction in workforce? I look at it slightly different. I look at it from the context of how do you make folks more effective? How do you make them better at what it is they do, whether they're a salesperson, a dentist, a lawyer, a contact center worker? So I think that's how, if you kind of look at it. And look, I think you can, you know, if you're more reserved, you can sit back and wait. But the only thing that's going to happen is your competition, the people in your field, are going to figure it out. So as an example, you might be a dentist and you might say, look, AI is not for me. But if your peer group, the other practices, start implementing AI and start bringing services to their patients where they can show their patients using AI, where 3 to 4 years down the road, where they may have potential challenges with their teeth and how they can address it now, patients are going to start looking for that. And if you're not offering that service, they're going to go to the market demand will be there. So I think it's one of the things where you can sit back and wait and you'll just watch people pass you by. So once again, I would say, look, the reality is most knowledge workers, time is not the enemy, right? We may feel as individuals that are knowledge workers that, you know, there's never enough time. But reality is, when you really sit down with anybody and you try to actually manage out what they do in a day, in a business workday, you'll actually find there's a lot of just natural inefficiencies that are there. So then it's really the question I go back to, which is the effectiveness. So where I look at, you know, search as an example, if I can give more data to the knowledge worker when they need it, in the context of what they're looking for, and drive them to the best solutions faster, whether they're a lawyer, whether they're an accountant, whether they're a salesperson or a contact center person, in that moment that they're trying to do something, making them more effective to not only just complete the task, but complete it at a higher quality. Because I think that's the big thing, is not just do we get these things done, but the implementation of AI should actually make that quality artifact that you're doing, right? Whether you're responding to a customer, whether you're writing a legal brief, it should actually be a better quality than if you were doing it on your own. You know, here's how I would look at it is, one, what AI project approach did the study look at, right? I mean, I think in terms of that, and I think, yes, there's probably a lot of false starts out there, but there are so many. I just look at our own customer base, and we're only one of thousands of AI vendors that are out there. So the number doesn't hold water for me, just based on my own experiences and what I'm seeing within Yellow and other peer groups. So that's number one. The other thing is, how do you define success? I think that's a critical element that maybe some people didn't really understand what they were getting into. And I would say I've seen this, particularly over the last 12, 18 months. I think the first challenge that many companies had was they thought that AI was going to be like SaaS. And what I mean by that is, we're going to go out there, we're going to select a vendor, we're going to go through some basic onboarding setup, and then boom, the magic is going to happen. And look, there's kind of a responsibility both on the vendor and the consumer or the customer to understand that that's not the case. This is a very different paradigm. I think the biggest driver is where we're seeing this going to a very focused use case, specifically for verticals. And I think that's exciting because it allows us to get to a depth of two areas. Like, one is the data behind this, right? Because AI is only as good as the data that it is learning from and that it is taking action upon. So I think the data set's getting tighter and more sophisticated for specific verticals and use cases in those verticals is great, because I think that's going to allow us to really get to a level of sophistication where the engagement between the AI agent and the employee or the consumer or the partner is going to get better and better. And the second piece you touched upon, this is the agentic aspect, where the agent can do things on behalf of the employee or the consumer. So not just engaging them and answering questions and helping them assist through different activities, but actually taking actions upon their behalf. If I wasn't working in AI, I would be a pickleball coach. I would love, it helped me work on my own game. But I do love teaching folks how to play the game.